Hello and welcome to Planet NOLA. My name is Mary Jacobs. I am your host. This is the podcast where we talk to people in New Orleans that I think are cool, doing cool things, just some people in the city that I'd love to shine a little light on. Today, I'm so lucky to have with me Tenaj Jackson. Hi, Tenaj.
Hi.
Tenaj is an incredible member of our community. She's an organizer of a mutual aid effort for her neighborhood, the 7th Ward Triangle. She's also an actress, performer, theater director, theater personality.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and newly a masseuse, correct?
Yes,
This is your newest endeavor.
Officially, I have to tell you that we're massage therapists, not masseuses.
Right. What's the difference between a masseuse and a massage therapist?
There's literally no difference.
It's like, get it right.
Yeah, one of them sounds a little sexual, so we try to avoid it.
Because it sounds sexual? Hot. I never thought about that.
I'm like, I don't care.
I want to go. If I were a massage therapist, I'd be like, call me a masseuse.
I want to do it, but they're like, you must not be serious. It's like, I don't care.
Oh my God.
I live in New Orleans. It's fine.
It is what it is. BodyWerk by Naj.
Yes.
That is Tenaj's massage therapy practice. So if you're looking to get a good rub down, which I made very sexual.
Find your local masseuse.
Find you your local masseuse rub down. That sounds awful. That's awful. I get why they say massage therapist now. I get it. I understand why.
Now you know.
Anyway, well, I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for doing this. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I've been up for hours. I had lots of coffee, and now I'm on to the better things.
Hell yeah. Well, I really wanted to talk. I've been talking about having you on here for weeks and weeks and weeks because I think that the kind of work you're doing, specifically with the 7th Ward Triangle, your mutual aid efforts it's truly aspirational and beautiful, and it's something that I wish there was more versions of in the city. And it's also something that is super duplicative. It is entirely possible that the work you're doing can be done by most people in their communities. And what you've done is do it. You did the thing. And
we need more people to do the thing.
Yeah, and so I would love for you to talk about what your neighborhood effort looks like, what it is that the 7th Ward Triangle mutual aid effort is, just generally.
Okay. So I think initially when I started, I was just set on being, not on purpose, but being a one-woman show. I was like, nope, I'm going to go shopping every week. I'm going to go put food in there as much as I can. I'm going to just help out my neighbors and community as much as I can. And it got real old real fast. It was a lot of money to try and spend for myself.
Right.
And then it was just a lot of work, trying to get through COVID, trying to keep up with, doing theater, or trying to even just have a social life. I'm like, okay, you always have to clean the fridge. You always have to do this. And so it's turned into how can I get more people involved to to the point where I could disappear for a month and it could still run itself, essentially. And so it kind of has done that a little bit, especially the last couple months, people make their own schedules. We have a lady that has been making bread for us for a year every single day, her and her kids, and they just she brings them around in the stroller, they put it in the fridge and go about their day. And we have a lot of people that do that. And so that's what I wanted to get it to. And now we even there's another mutual aid pop-up 2-3 blocks away. One of my neighbors has her little patio furniture set out, and she puts free things on that. And a couple people were like, are you sad that they don't put it in your fridge? And I'm like, no, the point was to share. Everyone should be putting stuff on their porch if they have it.
So it just started with a fridge on your property?
So it actually started with a little rack that I had. It was a 2-tier thing. And in my mind, I was like, somebody's going to take it. Mm-hmm. So I took the top off and I was like, we'll just do the top. And I set it on the corner. And I was being kind of creepy. I'm like, oh, let me see if anyone uses it or if it's a weird thing in the neighborhood. It was so bad.
I would too. I'd be so curious. I'm like, is anyone actually going to look at this?
I was like, does anyone want that can of peas? Maybe I should get something else. It was like that. And so eventually people were using it and someone did take the rack. And so I was like, I'm glad I got this second rack. And so I put that one out. And then I got a little more comfortable and I moved it directly in front of my house, which I was a little nervous about. I was like, oh, people are going to come by here and it's going to be a lot of traffic. And now it's to the point where literally hundreds of people come by And I'm like, nope, it's fine. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Like every day.
Yeah.
So do you see a lot of the same community members over and over? You see people you haven't seen before regularly?
Yeah. Like we have like a flow. Like there are people that specifically come every single day. Mm-hmm. But then there's some people that like move around the city a little bit. So it might go like a month or two without seeing them, and then they're back. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. But then there's always new people that come by. And people will travel to get there. Like, not everyone has a car, so they're, like, walking from the other side of Elysian Fields to get there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot of walking, y'all.
Yeah, but that just means that this is a service that you're providing that they need access to.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the access how they can get it. And it's like, if you got to walk, you got to walk.
Yeah, and people do it. And I try to, like, deliver things when I can, but, like, trying to keep my own, like, self-care and mental health and like at bay. I'm like, no, I can't make it a habit of being a delivery service. I'll do it when I can, and I can't like extend myself further than that because it's not fair, because then I can't even run the space that I have.
Well, the thing is you have to keep it sustainable for you, because there's a reason why you started it. Mm-hmm. And you probably still hold that in your heart, and you don't want to ever feel like burnt out or resentful towards why you started this thing.
Yeah, no, that was something I had to. I'm glad I did, but I did reach out to some other like mutual aid people, and they told me exactly that. They were like, so you have to make this sustainable. It's a marathon. Yeah. So please, like, if you have to take a break or take a step back, like, you've built it up enough to where people will continue to, you know, help you out or do it. Like, ask. The whole mutual aid thing is ask for help when you need it.
Exactly. I think that a thing that folks who provide mutual aid in the way that you do, which is it's like the forefront of your mind and your lifestyle, you're going to always, if you're at the grocery store and something's on sale, you're going to always be thinking of your community.
Winn-Dixie's my favorite. They always have random sales. I'm like, 10 avocados for $1?
Yeah, exactly. So, but the other flip of that is that you are part of the equation.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people that are in care professions or do service work like you're doing, they do lose themselves in the equation, and then that's where the burnout happens.
You forget that you are also a part of the community. Mm-hmm. And then, but it's bad because then it turns into charity, and that's not what mutual aid is. It's literally like take what you need when you need it. Because I have people that have full-blown like jobs, but like some days they get off work and they come by the fridge and they're like, oh yeah, I just wanted to see if there was like a soup or something, so I don't have to go to the grocery store, so I don't have to spend this money. It's like, use it, like it's for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people also, that's such a good clarification that you've mentioned, because I do think that might be a thing that happens, is folks are like, well, it's not me, I'm not in need. Mm-hmm. And it's like that the point is that we all have needs
at different times,
and it's like there's no shame in that. And if we stop vilifying our own needs, we can start to stop vilifying the needs of those who have less than us.
Yeah.
And not that everybody does, and not that it's always happening, but I think sometimes it does. You know, I find when the conversation comes up for, if you don't know, in New Orleans, we've got a really beautiful network of community fridges. They're across the city. You can look up the resource. I know there's an Instagram, like Community Fridges New Orleans. There's a Facebook resource page as well. I'm not sure if there's a website, but there are these sources across the entire city. And a lot of times in these mutual aid conversations, folks say, well, what if someone takes everything? And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that statement is this thing that halts people. And they're like,
yeah,
I don't want to give aid because what if one person takes everything? And I'm like, what does that have to do with giving help? I don't understand. Are you faced with that narrative? Do people come at you with that?
I was just having this conversation with someone last night, I think. I forget who it was, but yeah, we were talking about, you know, they were hesitant at first to put anything in the fridge because sometimes people take everything. And I mean, I think we've all heard the narrative, like, don't loan something you're not willing to give away. Mm-hmm. Same thing, like if you're gonna put something in the fridge, you have to step back. Like once it's in there, you have to just walk away.
Right.
And sometimes people do take everything, and sometimes they'll like if people put in packages of water, they'll sell it.
Yeah.
If people, like we did a distribution, we gave away a ton of diapers, and some people were trying to sell them. So there's a lot of different things that happen like that. But on the other side of it, they're probably selling that because they don't need the diapers at the moment. They might need
the money
to get medication. They might need the money to get, their RTA cards or whatever it is.
Life things.
Yeah. Like, it's not always the negative narrative. And sometimes they take it because they live in a community of people.
They know someone's going to need it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to need it.
People take it back to their tent cities. They take it back to, like, wherever they might be squatting. Or, like, they have a big family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tell someone that they have to, okay, you can only take one apple, or, like, no, just take the whole bag and just eat it. Don't waste it.
So what's your response to people if they come at you with that? What do you usually say?
I honestly just tell them, I was like, no, once you put it in the fridge, you have to trust that people are going to do the right thing. Like, you can't police it. Like, that's the opposite.
Yeah, it's
of
like
what
you're
we're
giving
doing.
it away. The act of giving it away that's the end of your part of it. You've given it away, and from there it is in the world. And
I feel the same way about people, with, the food stamps. I'm like, you don't get to choose what they get with it.
Right.
It's like, it's already fairly limited. Like, they can't get a lot of, like, what is that, hot food?
Right, yeah.
And things like that.
Stuff, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, if people want to get nicer meat or, like, healthier foods or be a little fancy every once in a while, it's like they're already in a position where they have to use food stamps. Like, let it go.
And people are constantly making moral judgments. It's exhausting. But I think that the work you're doing is kind of in spite of those judgments. It's like to tell someone, okay, yes, someone might take everything. Somebody might sell these waters.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the work and why I'm doing it. And it doesn't change the need for me to put water in the fridge.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. And it just holds people back from helping when there's so much that we can provide.
I know, if we want to get, like, really into it, it's like, well, they're probably going to sell it for cheaper than it's worth, so they're still kind of helping.
Yeah.
Like, we want to get, like, away from that whole, like, money exchange in it, but, I mean, if they're taking waters and selling them for, 50 cents, $1, like, that's cheaper than the gas station.
Yeah.
Like, if people need water.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell me a little bit about your neighborhood and, like, your community itself?
My neighborhood is so cool, honestly. Like, we live on a block with so much culture. Like, most of the residents on my street, even, they've lived there. Like, they're living in, like, their great grandparents' houses. Like, they've been here. And I was worried about, like, how they would accept the fridge and the pantry and all that, but they've been so helpful. They've been supportive. They utilize it when they need to. They put things in it. Like, it's been good. And they all when they come by, I appreciate it because they tell me their stories, and that's why I know, like, oh, you've been here forever.
You know your neighbors.
Like, this is, like, you live here. Like, you know everybody on this block. You know all the block drama. This is great.
The block history, too.
Yes.
Sometimes neighbors will know stuff that you didn't know.
Oh, they keep telling me about
completely
all
changes
of that.
And stuff.
Yeah, like, there used to be a bakery, like, in the next block. I was like, just randomly. And then there, like, a lot of the Mardi Gras Indian families live within the very close vicinity. So I'm like, this is great. So whenever anything cultural like that happens, I just go sit outside. I'm like, I hear them. I know they're coming.
Yeah, you're near a lot of the happenings. Where is the Seventh Ward Triangle? Is it close to the fairgrounds?
No.
Where is it?
No. So it is Elysian Fields, St. Claude, and St. Bernard. Like, right in the middle of that.
You're so close to me.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, that's, like, so easy to get to.
I know.
Well, everything's easy
Franklin.
to get to. It's New Orleans. Everything's easy to get to, except, as I like to say, uptown.
Yeah, I will say my GPS tried to put me on the interstate, and I was like, I know where Gentilly is.
He's doing that to people.
I was like, that's not going to
GPSs
happen.
are disrespectful in New Orleans. They have no idea.
No.
I'm insufferable. I'll get an Uber, and I'll be like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please, you know? And you always know if the Uber driver is actually from here because they'll be like, all right, where I need to, like, they'll ask you, like, where you want me to go. Like, tell me how to get there, and I'll do it. Or if it's someone who's not from here or somebody's just coming to drive here and maybe lives outside of the city, they will be like, I have to follow it.
Faster. No, you don't.
I'm like, listen.
I was not going to get on 610 to come down Franklin and do all this other. Like, no, come on. Like, I know where I'm going.
Yeah, you got this figured out.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, cool. So I think that I really would love to emphasize to folks listening that, like, mutual aid is accessible to you. Like you can both partake and give. It's a give and take, as we were just saying. What do you say to people when they're like, oh, Tenaj, what you're doing is so incredible?
I literally tell everyone I'm not doing anything. Like all I did was put up the fridge. And they're like, no, like it's so much more than that. And like, I guess because I've had like my little points where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I need a break, I can't answer the messages, I can't like physically go do the things for the fridge. So I just tell them the truth. I'm like, look, like it's I feel like I'm not doing anything because I feel like it's so easy that anyone could do it.
Right.
I'm like, so it doesn't have to be a fridge. It could just be a nice little table outside, like on the corner. Like somebody might take the table, but like if you keep putting things on there and encouraging other people to do it, like they might actually just leave it alone.
What are the most requested things from the community members that use your tables
so funny.
and fridges?
Fruit cups for me.
Really?
Yeah.
People
like,
love fruit cups?
I have like grown men like, you got any fruit cups? I'm like you mean like the little plastic ones? They're like, yeah, I really love those fruit cups. Like, I was like, okay.
It must be nostalgic.
It might be. It was one day somebody put a bunch of like meals in the fridge, and then they were all open, and somebody ate all the fruit out of it. And I was like, guys, look, I had to throw.
That's next level.
I was like, I had to throw all this food away. I'm sorry for whoever made it. Like, obviously, I can't keep it in there. It's fully contaminated now. But maybe just bring me some fruit cups so we don't have this problem anymore. And I tell people, I'm like, if you make a meal, don't put the fruit salad in there.
Yeah.
Make it separate.
Put it on the side.
Because I don't know why. I don't like them.
People love that sugary syrup.
Yeah.
That sweet sugary syrup.
Oh, it's so funny. And I can't move a salad.
Really? People don't want salad? People don't like salad, man.
People don't like salad.
I like a salad.
Salad
gets a bad rep.
Dude, a chef or a restaurant like gave us these beautiful salads. And I'm like, here, sir, here's a great looking salad. And he's like, ugh. You got any Oreos? Like, come on. Jeez.
You're like, this has been made by a chef in our great city of New Orleans.
This is a $12 salad, sir.
It's probably more than that.
Probably more than that.
They charge some stupid prices for salads, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because like the meals in the fridge are great and people love them. But like for long-term storage, like people don't always have fridges or electricity. Yeah. So, like, they need the canned goods. They need the stuff that's, like, prepackaged.
That's real. So, I bet you... So, a lot of folks who might be using your services don't necessarily have a way to keep things on their own. So, it's like... That's why those pre-made meals are good.
Yeah.
Because in my brain, I'm always like... Because I know about the fridges, obviously. I know about the pantries. But in my brain, I'm like... But do people want the pre-made meals? Like, it seems like...
absolutely.
But that is perfect. People who don't have kitchens. Or people that don't have... Like, they can't take a can and open the can and... cook it.
And like you said, it's also like the nostalgia of like finding something that's already made that you like grew up with.
Right.
Like something that somebody...
What kind of stuff do people make?
Oh, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like
really?
People love that. It's like, oh, okay, because there's like these chicken salad croissant sandwiches. No, I want that peanut butter and jelly.
It's the nostalgia thing.
Yeah. It's like, especially if you're not in a stable... I guess like living environment, or maybe you're just having a bad day. You're like, I want something that reminds me of better times.
Do you know one of my favorite things that used to exist in New Orleans? When I first moved back after college, so I went in for college and I came back and I was like a broke kid, you know, like fresh out of college. Oh my God, I was so outrageously broke. It's remarkable, really. And you know, Mardy Gras Zone, the grocery store. Oh
yeah,
they used to do red beans on Mondays. Pay what you want. Every Monday for years.
Oh.
And so, like, every Monday, I would go and pay whatever I had and get a plate of red beans and rice, and it came with cornbread, and it came with something. I don't know if it came with cornbread, but it always came with something. And the red beans were perfectly good, like, and they didn't put meat in it because I don't eat meat, and I was like, this is perfect. Like, I could
we're trying to keep the cost down.
Yeah, exactly. And they had this one chef that worked there for a long time, and I think it was his passion project. And then he went away. I don't know where he went, but then the red beans and rice Mondays went away. But for me, as like a punk kid, you know, that one meal a week that I was like guaranteed that I didn't have to like prepare, pay for, like, and it was something I liked to eat. It was like I think about it all the time because I'm grateful for it because it really like
it got you through.
It did get me through, man, in like a real way. I was like, because I also got to have a moment where it was like a tradition.
I was gonna say that like there's something about going out to get your food,
Yeah.
like the socializing aspect of it, even it's like
I would bring a friend. I'd be like, have you ever had the red beans and rice at Mardi Gras Zone on Mondays? Like, it's pay what you want, or it's free. Like, and I would just bring different people with me.
Yeah, I get that. I think the fridges are like that too, though. Like, people gather, they meet there. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, we're having a little party. I'll go sit out here too.
Yeah, but say I feel like you probably know your neighbors in a way that like old timey versions of knowing your neighbors.
I think
pre-social media knowing your neighbors.
Yeah, like it's pretty, like a couple people come to get, like my partner does haircuts. Like we have the little Speak Easy barbershop.
Oh,
don't say anything. And then right behind that is like where my treatment room where I do the massages, and like so many neighbors will come over and get haircuts, and he obviously gives them a hefty discount because he's like, no, like we're a part of the same community. Like I get it. I'm going to cut you a break. And they always like tip him really well because they're like, they appreciate it so much.
Well, also just like in the event of life happening, knowing your neighbors is so crucial.
Yeah.
Hurricanes, especially in New Orleans, but anything. Like, you know, if something happens and you can't come home for the night, they can go in your house and they can check on your dog or your cat. Like there are so many times where knowing your neighbors is so critical. And you know, there's a package on my porch. I forgot it was coming. Can you please run over? You know, I'm spoiled.
Oh, we've definitely done that a few times for sure.
It's a real thing. And it's like, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Like being in a community is literally mutual aid. Like, if done in the way that I think is best, personally.
No, it is. Like, I'm trying to think of anyone else. Like, there's not many people, like, within 2 blocks of our house that we haven't had a conversation with.
Yeah.
And I try to do that with the, you know, the unhoused people when they come by. I'm like, what's going on with you? I'm like, I know about their brothers. Like, who are you dating this week? Oh, okay.
Remembering people's names.
Yeah.
Like,
which, no, I can't do that.
It's hard. It's hard.
So bad.
But it's something, even if you don't remember everybody's names, because you probably meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I meet a lot of people as well. It's hard. But it's like, you can remember the details. But last week you said this. And like, even just that like level of like seeing somebody. I always talk about, we had a guest on here, my friend Marys, and she's got a program to decarcerate. The idea is to like help folks leaving the prison system to integrate and not go back to prison. And she always says to me, like, a thing you can do for people that have come out of prison is to just listen to them, like ask them about their lives. And be interested in their lives.
Treat them like humans because they probably haven't gotten that for some time.
Right. The whole process of her that she believes in decarceration is giving people humanity back. Mm-hmm. And the houseless population is in the similar way, I think, to the prison population, gets their humanity completely stripped from them constantly.
That's why I tell people, I'm like, look, I know like sometimes I ask for things that are like super sugary or not really healthy, but I'm like, I'm literally relaying what people are asking me for because they deserve to choose what they eat. Yeah. Like it's as simple as that. Like they want peanut butter and jelly, like please bring it.
Yeah.
Like if you have the capacity to do it, like why not?
And why judge it? It's like, I have my wants and my desires, and it's like, if a group of strangers were judging me on it and being like, no, Mary, you can't have that PB&J. We're going to bring you a salad. I'd be like, excuse me, I'm a person with thoughts and feelings. But yeah, people will oftentimes do this thing where it's like fruit cups or vilify it. And it's like, no, actually. And also I have this whole thing where food is neutral. There's no good or bad food. It's just food, you know? Like,
it's to sustain me so that I can keep doing the things.
Yeah, exactly. Diet culture and capitalism has really.
I was
this
trying
week's
not to bring
episode
it up,
of Planet NOLA is brought to you by Vitality Community Fitness, a group training facility located in Metairie, Louisiana. Vitality prioritizes their members with accessible workouts for anybody. Any gender, any size, any ability. I'm a little biased because I do co-own this business, and I gotta say we've got one of the best communities around, really great coaches, really good vibes. So if you're interested in trying out our gym, go to our website, vitalitycommunityfitness.com, click the contact form, and you get 3 free classes in a week. So come check us out.
The only time I don't mind when people like have their own personal preferences, like of what they put in the fridge, which everyone should like bring a plethora of things. It's fine. But like to have like some vegans and vegetarians, they're like, I don't feel right buying meat. I was like, great.
Yeah.
We actually have a lot of people that come by that are vegan and vegetarian. So
Yeah.
that works out perfectly.
Yeah, whatever it is you feel comfortable with
Bring me fresh
give it.
produce.
As long as it's not from this like high ground of being like, you shouldn't eat that.
No,
You know?
no. It's
Exactly.
more like them. They're like, I don't feel like I should be buying that.
I wouldn't buy meat to give away. I mean, I get that. But it's like anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Any aid, any help is going to go some sort of way.
I actually started buying meat to put in like the freezer, and I'm like, oh, people actually want this because it's expensive.
It is expensive.
It's so expensive. So it'll be rare. It's when I catch my little Winn-Dixie sale.
Yeah.
It's like 2 of these for free. Great. Like, where did I get
Tenaj,
that from?
we have to take a break.
Oh, yay.
We'll be right back. This week's episode of Planet NOLA is brought to you by Vitality Community Fitness, a group training facility located in Metairie, Louisiana. Vitality prioritizes their members with accessible workouts for anybody. Any gender, any size, any ability. I'm a little biased because I do co-own this business, and I gotta say we've got one of the best communities around, really great coaches, really good vibes. So if you're interested in trying out our gym, go to our website, vitalitycommunityfitness.com, click the contact form, and you get 3 free classes in a week. So come check us out. Hello and welcome back to Planet NOLA. I'm your host, Mary Jacobs. I'm still here with Tenaj Jackson. We spent the first half talking about mutual aid efforts, Tenaj's work with her neighborhood, the 7th Ward Triangle, their community fridge, their community pantry, what is mutual aid, why it matters, how easy it is, how anyone can do it. What is your advice to someone that says they want to do it? Easiest advice out the gate.
Do it.
Just do it, right?
Just do it. Like, that's the easiest thing to do. There are other things that are equally as easy, but it requires a little more effort. But like, if you want to share resources, you just do it.
Find a community fridge, find a pantry, start one if you need to.
Yeah.
Look at local nonprofits that are helping the houseless communities. Oftentimes they have lots of places and resources, and maybe they just need volunteers, people to prepare meals or hand things out. Like, there are so many opportunities, especially in this city. I can speak for this city, that you can do a little bit for your community.
Even as simple as bringing bedding under the bridge. Like,
right.
They don't have the capacity or space or anything to wash their things, so they go through a lot. Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. I never thought about it like that. That makes complete sense. Tenaj, a question that I love to ask people is, if somebody gave you a lot of millions of dollars tomorrow.
Oh my God, I've thought about this a lot.
Everyone has. This is such a good question. What would you do with it? Ideally in this city, but it doesn't have to be.
No, I've got it.
Okay, you're ready.
Got you. Oh my God. So like down the street from my parents, there used to be this convent. They tore it down, and I think the Archdiocese still owns the property. I'm like, I want that. I want to build like a theater space that's like a community for actors, low income housing. Whoa. I want to do like a little private school, but it's free. It's just private. And then all the actors, you can go work there, because all of us
it's like a performing arts school.
Performing arts, but like very focused on what we should be teaching kids when they leave high school. So like, but like a full school. And on the same grounds, I want to do like my community center. I want to have like the actual food bank. It's a whole thing. It's a little city within a city. I've thought about it a lot. And I'm like, how can I get Leonardo DiCaprio to donate $10 million so I can build it? He probably won't do that, though.
It'd probably be more than $10 million.
It'd probably be more than $10 million.
I don't know about money, but it seems like it'd be a lot. But guess what? I would work there.
I don't know. I could do a lot with the dollars. So
I feel like I could too.
Yeah, like we could make it work.
I feel like I could too, but I would want more. I would be like, Leo, you need to give me at least 20. That's how I really feel about it.
And that's why we're going to be partners now.
Yeah.
Ibotta, we're going to need that ad space.
Yeah, right. Come on, Ibotta. Let's go. One of my, first of all, I would work there. I would it's your multi-million-dollar dream is similar to mine. Mine's a community center where there would be after school care where we pick kids up from school and we keep them till dinner time. We feed them dinner and then we bring them home.
Part of mine was a boarding school because like kids shouldn't have to go back to bad environments if that's what they live in.
Or if there's no dinner at home also. So it's like the idea between school and home. That's always been, and then I've always wanted to have a community theater within that. So our projects are very similar in our dream world.
I've also considered doing it at the Six Flags. I'm like, oh, this would be great space.
Yeah, the property you're talking about, though, is owned by the Resilience nonprofit or whatever. It's the water thing. It's basically staying green space for rainwater retention, which is also pretty good because we need it. But I'm pretty sure that was when it was acquired. That was like the rule was that they need to keep it green space, and they're building like more rain gardens on it. I'm pretty sure.
I'll take it.
That was I went to a community like a planning meetings like years and years and years ago about it when it first started because I wanted to know what was happening with that property because I also
massive.
It's a beautiful property. It's beautiful, but there is so much underutilized property in this city.
There's way too much,
and we're just letting private corporations and house flippers take it all. So.
I mean, twist my arm. I guess I'll take Six Flags then.
Yeah, take Six Flags.
It's a little further than I wanted, but I'll do it.
I'll find anything. You know, one of my idols is St. Frances Xavier Cabrini, Mother Cabrini, which I'm no longer a practicing Catholic, but I obviously went to Cabrini, and so I have like a, you know, every year at Cabrini when you go there, they teach you Mother Cabrini history. So you literally learn the same life story once a year, every year. And you take a test on it every friggin' year, okay? Anyway, her whole shtick, in which I've always really looked up to, is this developer was like, I'll give you some money to start your orphanage. And I can't remember the exact amount. He was like, you can have, you know, $10,000. And she was like,
it was
no.
probably a lot at the time.
Yeah, it was a lot. And she goes, no. You're going to give me $100,000. And you're going to give it to me, and you're going to be happy about it. And guess what he did? He gave it to her.
I also want I'm so the opposite. Like when people offer me money, I was like, no. Like maybe not 100, like maybe 50, or if that's too much, I'm like, I'm so down, like lowballing myself.
I used to be like that, and now, and I still sort of am with my personal styling business. But my whole thing is like, once I feel like my skill level matches what I want to pay or what I want to charge, I just do it. I'm like, I have no shame anymore. Like specifically with the gym, I'm like, I know what we're offering. I know the price point is high, but there are moments where I do feel insecure, where I'm like, I'm not completely ready to charge it. But a lot of times they say you just charge it anyway.
Yeah.
You just charge it anyway.
I've had a lot of like mentors, I think, with massage. And so like, I'm like, no, my prices are what they are. Like I do still offer like, I'm like, nope, theater people, like I'll give you, you know, like a break on this. Like, or, you know, people that I know need it. I'm like, but I know the minimum I'm willing to accept, and so that's my cutoff, but my prices are that, and I feel comfortable. But for some reason, like with the triangle, I'm like, oh, when people want to donate, they're like, how much do you need? And I'm like,
this is what you say as much as you can give me, because the need is endless.
I will use that.
I mean, think of Mother Cabrini when you do it, because that lady who told that man, no, I'm sorry, sir, you're giving me $100,000 or however much it was. It was a lot more than he offered.
Yeah.
It was like, a lot more.
Didn't even blink.
No. She was just like,
no.
She was like, you don't give it all to me. And he gave it all to her.
Damn.
And now it's still there. It's the really pretty building on Esplanade. The other building was built in the 70s, but the beautiful Cabrini that's across from the cemetery.
Bridge?
The one that's across from the Blue Bridge was built in the 70s.
Okay.
And then the one that was the original orphanage and we still use for school
is
right across from the cemetery on
3.
Esplanade.
Yeah.
On Esplanade, yeah. And that building is beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go in there, have you been in there?
Yeah.
There's
I did
a courtyard.
like my little school days there. Like in 8th grade, I was like, let me go to Cabrini and see what this is about.
That's cute. And you're like, I'm not coming here.
I'm not coming there.
Why did you went to Redeemer Seton?
I did, yeah.
Why'd you go there?
So my sister and my cousin went there, like the first year was co-ed. And then I'd gone to, and I think that was part of it, like I went to all Black Catholic schools my whole life, and that was the only all Black like school
co-ed
on co-ed, yeah, but it was the only one under the archdiocese. So like I think my parents were like, no, we want you to keep being around like Black people, and it was good because they do it was like HBCUs, like how people feel about that. It was like you they instill like so much like pride in your own culture in there on top of the religious aspect. I'm like, oh no, I guess I did need that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you got to have that experience.
Yeah.
And I guess the sad part is that Redeemer Seaton's no longer there, right?
No, Holy
and neither
Cross
is
owns
St.
it.
Mary's. Or is St. Mary's still a school?
St. Mary's
but
is
what's
still
the other one
there.
that went away? There was one, Xavier Prep.
So yeah, so now it's St. Catherine Drexel.
Did it combine with? Oh no, it's a new school.
It's a new school, but it's technically the same school.
Oh,
like
okay,
that was,
so we didn't lose one. It just kind of
like I think
rebranded.
Catherine Drexel was either like even like their patron saint. So it's like a little rebranding some kind of way. I didn't go. Well, I went there after Katrina. Like the Max is what they called it. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that, but it's pretty much like it's everything.
It's the same school.
Yeah,
I had thought we lost one. I thought that they, like St. Mary's and Xavier Prep had combined for some reason.
No, so St. Mary's is still in the east. Nobody's ever gonna touch St. Aug.
Of course, we have St. Aug. If you're not familiar with the private school situation in New Orleans,
It's
we
intense.
talk about it all the time here, but there are Catholic schools. They are the schools in which people, for the most part, will go to. Less and less lately, because our public school system has been changing a lot in the last few years. But there is a huge legacy attached to these schools. Folks that go to these schools have a lot of pride about their schools. And in New Orleans, we have schools that are all black. So St. Aug, St. Mary's, Xavier Prep. What's Xavier Prep called now?
Catherine Drexel.
Catherine Drexel, Redeemer Seaton.
Yeah.
But that one's gone.
That one's gone now.
Is there any other Catholic, primarily black
I
schools?
don't think so.
But like, how wild and like special is that exists here?
I know. I mean, it's funny because like all of my schools technically closed. Like I went to Corpus Christi, and that was like, and it was such a historic school. Like the I think it was Sisters of the Holy Family, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, they'd be so mad at me right now. But it was like all these like black Creole nuns. I'm like, I tell everyone, I'm like, I was raised by black and Irish nuns because when I went to my middle school, it was all of these. Like Irish nuns with like full blown accents, and I'm like, oh dear, it's like I am in trouble here.
Were they real rule sticklers?
Oh, I had a principal that walked around with a yardstick, and it was covered in duct tape, and we called it Mr. Silver. I was like, oh, Mr. Silver's coming, because she would beat us.
It's a thing. It's not like you were living in the 50s.
No, like
you
it
were
was
getting
just
beat in the 90s.
It was just nope. You did a bad thing, and now you have to be punished. And whether it was on your butt or on your hand,
Yeah,
it was like
do the hands a lot, huh?
Oh yeah, a big one though. I'm at Corpus Christi. We like we got my 5th grade class got in so much trouble. We had to go to reconciliation.
Of course, yeah. Catholic thing.
Every day. Like we were I was like, I don't even have anything else to confess. I was just here.
If you're not Catholic, listen, reconciliation is where it's awful, first of all. It's like the weirdest part of Catholicism.
It's so awkward. You end up lying to the priest because you don't have anything to say.
Oh my God, reconciliation is awful. So basically you go in a booth with a priest as a small child and tell them all the bad things you've done, which is kinky as hell, first of all.
Oh my God.
Catholicism is very kinky, like deeply kinky, but it's also just like very bizarro that is how it works as a small child.
Now I'm never gonna get that out of my head.
Yeah, sorry. And but like, yeah, it's like you said, like I would go in as a kid and I'd just be like so mortified that I had to be in there, and I would just like make stuff up. Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know, like I can't think of all the bad things I've done. I do a lot of bad things.
And after we got punished and had to go there every day for literally a month, I was like, I don't have anything. I was just here yesterday.
Here's my it's been 1 day since my last confession. Confession is I want to murder the priest and the nun that put me in this booth for the 30th day in a row. Exhausting.
Oh my God, it was so bad. Or we have to do like Stations of the Cross, and I'm like, that was it. That is too much. Like,
oh, they're so brutal.
Like stand, sit, kneel. I was like, this is the worst day of my life.
The Stations of the Cross is like so dark too.
It's super dark.
As you could imagine, it's the literal Stations of the Cross, but it's like boring, and also you feel really sad the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then in Catholic school, you can't not do it because you're gonna get in trouble and you're gonna end up in reconciliation again.
It's wild to me that Catholics don't like. It's like, oh, we have a shortage of priests. It's like, yeah, no crap. You have a shortage of priests. Yeah. First of all, your religion's creepy. Second of all, you don't have the best history of priestness.
No, it's a little kinky.
Yeah. Yeah. And third of all, it's boring. It's just
It
boring.
was so boring.
It's
like,
boring. When you would get a good priest in mass, because you have to go to mass when you go to Catholic school here. Some schools make you go once a week. Some schools
we went weekly in middle school.
That's brutal. We went once a month at Cabrini.
We had a special mass uniform. Did y'all?
Oh yeah, we had a blazer. We had to wear a blazer on top of our uniform.
Yeah, we had the blazer, and then the boys also had a different set of pants.
Oh my
that were a
God.
different color. So like, if you weren't in uniform, you have to sit in the back of the church.
Interesting. You'd get written up at my school.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah. Oof.
My favorite is when you would like run to the lost and found on the day of mass to like find a blazer because you'd forgotten your blazer. The theater kids at Cabrini, we had like a secret stock in the back behind the stage.
Oh, that's funny.
Because the masses were held. We had like a gym theater auditorium situation, like just like the saddest version of a theater. Yeah. So it's like if you forgot your blazer, it'd be like who got it, like who went in the back and found the one that we had back there. You throw it on before you go out to mass.
So funny.
So you don't get written up.
Oh, I was about to say I miss it. Oh no, but
I don't miss it.
I haven't thought about it,
but I still have nightmares regularly where I'm at high school and I have to do something to graduate. I'm like, I haven't done this class or this thing. Like I have tons of dreams about being there.
No, I just think about the yardstick with the duct tape.
Oh my God, that's brutal. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I don't want to misspeak here, but does St. Aug or did they do corporal punishment?
Yeah, but I think like
they've
less
stopped?
than a decade ago they had to stop.
Yeah.
And even like some of the alumni,
Less than
I think
a decade ago, though.
less than a decade, yeah. But I think some of the alumni were like, no, it's
Don't
tradition.
get rid of it.
And I kind of felt that way too. I was like, oh, maybe.
That's
but no.
so crazy.
I was like, oh, maybe
There's so much evidence that like hitting kids does
doesn't
nothing.
work.
There's so much evidence, and people are like, tradition, beat them. It's messed up. It's messed
I know,
up.
but it's like it's somehow it gets in your head too. So I was like, wait,
You're like, I am good because of it.
that was bad.
No,
Okay.
it was. It
Damn,
was.
I'm
about
just
how
actually
much, like,
traumatized. Okay, I didn't know.
it's a trauma response.
I was
You're just like, no, everything's fine. It was totally okay.
I did. I turned out great. No, I'm awful. Actually,
No,
I'm
you're great.
struggling.
No, you're great. You're great. I truly think about it all the time, and I'm like, how is that a thing? And I bet you it's still a thing some places.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Mind blowing. So Tenaj, you're directing a show for, is it the NOLA Project?
Yes.
And it's called
Schoolgirls or the African Mean Girls.
Is it with youth or adult actors?
So we're actually using adult actors. Actually, I think the youngest one might be like 18 or 19, but like everyone's like either in college or older.
Okay.
I thought about like actual kids, but I'm like, let's see who auditions and we'll see what happens
Right.
from
Well,
there.
I thought that NOLA Project, they do like a separate thing for kids sometimes.
Yeah, I think they do like
A
a
summer
summer
camp.
it's like
Yeah.
a summer intensive. But we do like I assistant directed a show in the fall and we had like an actual child in the show. I was like, no, look, she auditioned. Let's
she
put
made
her
it.
in. Yeah.
That's what's up. So how's it going? When's it coming out?
So
premiering.
we had to push it back because there was like a COVID spike right
course.
after New Year's. So we are. So they're gonna do Treasure Island
They've been trying to do Treasure Island
for a while,
years,
and
right?
they're like-
I auditioned for that in like 2019.
Yeah, and so they're finally gonna get to do it. They're like, hell or high water is gonna go, and then they're going right into Schoolgirls right after that.
Wow.
So it's gonna be like a double whammy. It's like, oh, all right, good luck to your production manager.
So you're a theater person. Do you primarily direct, or is this your directing
No.
debut? Or
I've done a couple things. Like I assistant directed a show for the Radical Buffoons, Balloonacy. I assistant directed. I just said it. Tell It to Me Sweet, like in the fall. I did a pod play that I directed, and so this is like I guess the first full blown production that I've directed.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
yep. Hope I don't ruin it. No, it'll be fun.
You're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. You've probably acted enough that you know how to direct.
Yeah, I would hope that's the case. But no, I have like a good little vision for it and I'm excited. And I thought it was funny because it's like it takes place in Ghana, but it's about like a Christian school.
Oh my
And so it's like a little
gosh.
boarding school. That's a real school in Ghana.
So it's just flashbacks to
I was
ruler.
I was talking to the cast. I was like, I'm gonna need blazers. We're gonna have these sweaters. I was like, I want it to be
Monogrammed sweaters.
Yes, like it has to be, and it's gonna look mostly like I think the school's actual uniforms.
Oh, cool.
And so I thought that was gonna be fun because I I enjoyed my school.
I've never heard
I
of
like
this show.
uniforms.
Is it a new show? I love uniforms.
It's fairly new. I think 2014 maybe it came out. Jocelyn Bio, and her mom went to the school that she wrote about, and it came about because I think Ghana had like kind of poached this American to be in their Miss Ghana or Miss Universe pageant. So, and she was like a light-skinned woman, and there was like all this like drama about it because they're like, but she's like half Ghanaian. She wasn't born here.
Interesting.
Like, but they were like, no, this will be our best chance. And so the show is basically about that.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's like these girls that are like trying hard to win this show, and then an American comes.
Have you guys had any rehearsals yet?
None.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah.
None.
Yeah, you're going to be getting down to the wire.
Yeah, doing the last show, it was so fun seeing people. Like, we got, like, people involved in the community, a couple of dancers, the high schooler, like, and it was so cool. Interesting seeing people who either hadn't performed ever publicly or this was like their first show in a couple years, and then seeing them evolve throughout the whole process. I'm like, this is great.
It is wild when someone takes a note. You like give a note, someone takes it, and then it's transformed, and you're like, like I had a part of that, and you had a part of that, and we worked together, and we made the thing. Like it feels good.
It does. I really liked it. I was like, oh man, I want to do this again. And so luckily I get to.
There's just like some magic also that I love to encourage people on this podcast to remember that New Orleans is like a deeply artistic city with so many kinds of different things to offer. I'm a comedian. Please come see some comedy. Tenaj is a theater maker. There's so much incredible theater in New Orleans, and like less so lately. I feel like COVID has really like, you know, shortened it up a bit. Like,
yeah, no, it's coming back strong and hard
so.
Though. Like this was a little test run of a year, and I think next year everyone's going full force.
That's what I really hope, because the theater that has been made here in the past 10, 15, even like 20 years really has been so good. I mean, I remember when the NOLA Project started up, you know? Dang. I was in high school when they started up, and I remember it. And I remember being really inspired and really just like so happy that it existed here. And I mean, I love the Radical Buffoons, and I love Goat in the Road. And if you guys don't consume local theater, you should. And if you need some place to start, go see Tenaj's show. When does it open?
I should know this.
Well,
but I don't.
It got moved. Well,
it did, yeah.
If you don't keep up with the NOLA Project, just keep up with the NOLA Project.
It'll be mid-June for sure. Like I know we close on July 1st. I remember that day.
That's helpful.
But no, we'll have once we start rehearsals, I'll put everything out there, and everyone should come see it. It'll be great.
There's
it's a
some
show
really
of,
incredible
8 black women. Like it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, you guys need to go see this. I'm gonna be going. Absolutely. I try to go to all the NOLA Project shows.
I hope you come to all the Radical Buffoon shows too.
I mean, I feel like I come
to
a
lot.
I was just at one. Yeah, I was like, damn, girl, I was there.
You did come.
If I can make it, I'm there.
No, that's good.
I'm one of those people where like the reason I was there was because like Kendra posted about it like that day. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me go. Like I'm the kind of person where like, I need to remember that it's this. Like poor Carrie, my producer, knows like if she doesn't tell me something like 4 times, like the day before, the day of.
That's why I do not mind you like texting me.
So guys,
like,
booking Tenaj for this slot was a whole feat, and getting her to commit to this. And you weren't the first person that's been like this, and it's totally fine because I am the same way.
I can't even help it. I'm like, it sounds like loose plans.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I get it, and I really don't mind it because I just think the people that are worth talking to are worth working around. You know, it's not like I'm paying you money to be here, so it's like You're like, wait a second,
cut tape.
My agent sent my rider in. Where are my M&Ms? But you know, it's like I'll work around whoever I can work around because I know it's worth it. You know. The last question I like to ask people, Tenaj, is ask everybody the same last question. Okay. I like to talk to people that are cool, doing cool things. Basically it.
Okay.
Maybe somebody that wouldn't otherwise be on like, you know, a media outlet in New Orleans. Who is the first person that comes to your mind? Or it can be multiple people. Who inspires you? Who's cool? Who do you like? Who do you think I should talk to?
Have you ever had 2 guests at once?
I've not, but I've thought about it.
Oh. I don't even know if that like what you would talk about. And I'm really biased, but like my partner Alex and our neighbor Ken, like I'm like, why don't y'all do things together? Like just talking to the two of them, they are like a force. They're like a team. Like any topic or anything you could think of, they have opinions.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you follow them on the Facebook, but
well, I just added Alex on Facebook today because I stalk everybody before they come in.
Oh, great.
And I got to see all his statuses about your cardio.
Oh my God.
So Tenaj and Alex have been trying to get into cardio, I guess.
We're a cardio couple now.
and now Alex keeps writing these hysterical Facebook statuses about being a cardio couple.
Yeah. It
could be a book.
It could but it's so funny. That's why I'm like, this is like my life, and we all live so close. We share a backyard with Ken. Like we call it Team House. Like they're so funny.
They're fun and interesting.
They're so fun and interesting.
I love fun and interesting people, and Alex does really cool work too. I know that.
Yes.
But I love like the way he writes those Facebook statuses. Like that's the kind of people that I like to consume and have on here because he is writing those Facebook statuses for his small group of Facebook friends, and they are art. Like it's creative, it's funny.
He can never run for politics.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just like pure entertainment. It's like what a gift, like for people to just write something that's so silly and fun, and like that's how I'm like. I'll make. It doesn't have to be this big grand thing, and yet those statuses are so funny, you know?
They're very like popping up on the Facebook memories. I'm like, how dare you tell people I did this? But it's so funny in the moment. It's like, oh yeah, that was good, I guess.
So funny. I love it. I love those little moments of just like sweet creativity.
Yeah, and they've been so instrumental in helping me with the community fridge.
Right.
And they will both probably tell you like, oh, I had some pushback. Like I didn't want to do it. I'm like, but they're out there like grilling for me. I'm like, hey, can y'all cook? And they're like, okay, I have a plan. I'm going to marinate this. Like, I was just thinking hot dogs. No. We don't do just hot dogs.
That's so great.
I'm like, okay, this is good. I'll take it.
I love that. Tenaj, this has been so nice. How you feeling?
I feel great. This is wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad that you agreed to come on.
Yay, me too. This is just so much bigger than I anticipated.
I know, we got a whole fancy setup. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
I thought we'd be sitting on the floor.
No floor sitting here. We got this nice $80 couch from the Goodwill.
Ooh.
Yeah, got a good deal. Well, y'all, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Planet NOLA. If you liked this episode, please tell a friend about it. Leave us a review. If you write us a review and you DM me on Planet NOLA Pod on Instagram, send me your address. I will mail you a very cool Planet NOLA holographic sticker. It's very exciting stuff. And thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe. Bye. Be in touch.